How many cold emails have you received where it just feels like another copy and paste email? And what's worse, it doesn't even really speak to you or your business. Today, I'm building a lead scraper in N8N capable of generating 10,000 leads. Not only that, it'll actually generate you a multi-line icebreaker that makes use of the prospect's website and LinkedIn information to create a highly personalized cold opener. This workflow will set you apart from your competition by miles. What's also unique about this is that instead of having to go grab an Apollo link manually, you can actually use this workflow to generate you a custom URL simply by telling it how many leads you want and what type of person you actually want to work with and find in your lead search. All right, now that we've had a chance to see the build live and to watch it go through its system, we're going to go through a live build of this. So we're going to start with our first trigger, which is going to be a form submission. Now, most of the time, triggers will probably be just a manual trigger, but in this case, we already know the direction that we're going to go. And so we're going to call this test form. We're going to add our nodes. We are going to have number of leads. And then the other one is target audience. So when the form pops itself up, we'll have our inputs that we can provide for it. And in this case, let's actually do that right now. $500, and we'll say marketing agency owners in the US. Submit. I have the information here. Next, we need our OpenAI as a way to help us prompt everything. Now, for the sake of speed right now, because you'll also get this in the template, I am going to provide you the actual template that I have. So we're going to choose ChatGPT 4.1. We're going to call it a helpful, say it's a helpful agent, an intelligent sales, a helpful intelligent sales assistant through system. The user information here will be everything that we're going to provide it, and actually that will be the system information. No, that's user information. This is system information. All right. We're going to basically say, hey, you're tasked with converting a natural language description of a prospect's audience into a corresponding Apollo URL. One thing that you need to know, I know this stuff can look scary when you're doing it. That's okay. You have things like ChatGPT, Claude 3.7, and Grok. As long as you understand that you need to give it an overview, the context of what's going to happen, the instructions to follow, some sort of way for it to reference back to itself to know what it's supposed to look like, and the SOP and final notes, you will have an excellent prompt. This is a subtle dance that you have to work through. So I started to understand based on the Apollo URL right here, just the information that one would need from it. Employees, industry keywords, location, job titles, whether their email was verified, whether their domain was verified through organization domain, and just the things that are necessary so that we have the cleanest lead list possible. Then knowing exactly what's going on here with the URLs, and honestly, Chat was able to do that to parse it into each of these sections here, helping to just normalize extracted values, helping to basically create the URL framework of the things that were necessary. We needed to make sure that ascending was false, that the sort was recommendation score, that the contact email system was verified, that the organization domain existed, and just everything that was going on, what the output would look like, all the tools, all the follow through in order to be able to get our final output, which is just this right here. Now, make sure that when you're doing this, you also are simplifying your output and outputting your content as JSON. For us, if we don't, just so you can kind of see it, it will parse it in this very weird thing because it'll be in the JSON as we showed it there. So the output will be put as JSON. So it'll take this JSON and call that search URL instead. So that will be very helpful when we're building the next step. So now we have our actor. Once again, I'm going to just kind of whiz by the process because I don't want to get us bogged down in the miasma of everything. Rather, I want us to kind of understand exactly the process of getting this thing lean and mean and running. Now, one great thing that this is called an HTTP request. One great thing that Appify does, and Appify is the system that we use that has actors, and these actors go out and perform tasks. Typically, those tasks are to scrape pieces of information, whether it's from YouTube, a website, Instagram, or in our case, it's going to be scraping Apollo. So there are several different actors that we can run through. What we need to do first is we need to actually run the actor. So we'll just look for run actor. And the reason I'm doing this is because you can do things where it's called run actor synchronously and with input and return output. The problem with this format is that when you start really pushing the depths of what this thing can do, and you have one single node that is running 10,000 emails and then having to store all of the data that we're going to get along with that, it can become very taxing on the system. And if that one point fails, then nothing is able to move forward. So what we want to do is the lightest possible version of this, and that's simply to run the actor. Now, you're going to grab your bearer token, which is just your API, and the actor ID, which you can see the actor ID actually in the URL. Once you do that, I'm going to actually just do a quick little run of that. Okay. So this here is going to help us set up everything that we need. We just need to get our bearer token. So we just need to get our bearer token, and we need to get the actor ID. The actor ID you get from the URL that you're actually using. It's probably another way to do it that's also super clean, but this is the easiest way that I've been able to find. And you get your JSON here, and that JSON will be inserted into here. We'll send the API request. And what it'll do is just let us know, hey, did it work? One more time. There we go. It'll run the actor. As you can see, it's running. We are going to abort that actor just because I don't want to spend the money again on another list of 500 leads. But now that we have all that information, we can then grab our curl, go into our import curl, and we'll actually add our curl here, and it will populate all of the things that are necessary. The only thing that we have to do are a couple of things here. One, we need to copy our API token into here. And two, these are not going to actually come out as they're going to come out just as this. What I've noticed is that when we're trying to run it, for some reason, unless you put it, you have to put it as a variable, not as a field. So we're going to get rid of it, have true. In fact, actually, you know what? Just for the sake of us, no, actually, never mind. So you're going to have true. You're going to do the same thing here. We're going to grab our search URL. Yeah, that's total records. Sorry. We're calling it number of leads. Now, to make sure that it's actually a variable, so this is one thing I've learned is that for some reason, in variable needs to be an integer. So we just need to put a plus, and that will convert it into an integer. And then we need to do the same thing and just make sure that our URL is there. So our search URL is there. And actually, if we want, we can go and check out this search URL. And you can see just how nifty it works. So our list was able to pull verified owners, known United States with marketing agency. We could probably go deeper and add more people that we can search for just to get a bigger list in the future. And that would be helpful, but we know that that works. So I'm just going to pin the data here. We're going to run through. And this has been run. Now that we've run the actor, we need a way to be able to draw that information. The way we're going to do that is we're going to use a webhook as our trigger. That webhook is going to be set to a post because the website Appify is going to post information to us. I'm just going to call this demo test. And we're going to set our response code to 200. There are several response codes. We're going to make sure ours is set to succeed. We're going to take this test URL and we're going to keep it copied. And we're going to go to Appify right now. We're going to build a quick connection. We're going to pick our trigger as run succeeded. Have the demo test there. We're going to run a quick listen and then save and test. And we got succeeded. Excellent. So we know that it's actually listening. Now, one thing that's very interesting is that I technically have to set this to active. I'm going to save this. The reason is because it won't send the information out to a test. It'll only send the information out to active unless I'm running specifically a test. So for us to be able to run the rest of what we're doing, ideally we need to have the actor be running everything. So we have that now. The next thing we need to do, now that we were able to identify that it's done and be able to get the necessary data from that, we need to grab our data set. And I am going to just speed up the process. I copied and pasted my current data set. And what I'm going to do is Appify documentation. And we're going to show you where it is. And we are already here. What we're going to do is we are going to get items. Once the actor has run, we need to get the items from it. We'll do the same thing with a curl. We'll add in the API key store ID, which is our API, the dataset path. Now this is important right here, and I'll show you exactly where it is. We'll eventually replace it with a JSON, but for the sake of your test to make sure everything is working well, we've got our runs. We've got our storage, and then we've got our dataset ID. You can put it in there and you can test it. You can grab your curl and add it straight into there. For us, this will be the actual JSON that will be grabbed with the default dataset. You will just look for default dataset. Once everything actually processes through, it'll have the API token and everything ready to go. So what we need to do right now is we're going to save this, and we're actually going to run a quick workflow of everything. So we're going to look for 500 leads. Marketing agency owners in the US. We're going to do a quick run. And for the sake of the things in the future, I am going to save this information. Should see our runs going. It's running. We'll run our executions just to see everything processing through. We'll look for success here as well. All right. Great. Succeeded. We're going to check our workflow execution. All right. It is processing through. Excellent. We're going to copy that into editor so that it pins the data. As you can tell here, it was able to grab the dataset items that we needed, which is very good. So next thing we need to do is, well, we need to add this to our sheets, right? Well, almost. I'm going to add append and update. I'm going to get our test leads. I'm going to put this in demo 3, or demo, which is our third sheet. I'm going to match everything to ID. And now, I won't waste your time with this, guys. I'm just going to grab everything and move it into all the fields. All right, so now that we have everything ready, we're going to make sure to have pending for website content and icebreaker as well as pending. For some reason, this specific row is only pulling in not able to pull any information, probably because they just don't have any. We'll make sure to have always output, organization. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Before this ever even, because we're seeing an issue already, a tiny one, but still nonetheless could be completely solvable with a filter. One. Website must exist. 2. Email status must be equal to verified. Always output. Great. So we skip past some of the riffraff of the things that are not working. We'll make sure to continue just in case the workflow does not work. So as it's processing through, it's going to go and hit this 394 times. We don't need to have this hit 394 times. Rather, what we need to do is we're going to do a quick sheet read. And we're going to check our records first, and then from our records, merge any things that are the same, or basically get rid of any duplicates. So it's just going to read the sheet. And then what we need to do is we need to have a merge. We have a few options: append, combine. We are going to do combined because we want to bring them all together. We're going to do matching fields. The matching field is going to be ID because that's going to be the main header field of the unique ID. We're going to not keep any matches. And what we're going to do is we're going to get input 2. Now, there is a reason for this, and I will explain it in just a second. The reason for this is that when this processes through, if there are 0 fields in here, it will basically bring over nothing, and it will stop it. Or what it will do is it will have a bunch of blank fields, take a read of potential all those blank fields, and then you'll have a big gap and then nothing. So it will, if this is broken, it will push it through to just the bottom itself. So we're going to test the workflow. It's reading the sheet. I made a mistake here. Watch it crash. I made the mistake of having this run more than once. It ran 395 times. It's literally checking the sheet 395 times. So we're going to give this just a second to breathe. All right. I'm going to test this workflow one more time. Okay. Our sheet has been updated. The demo sheet. Here's all of our verified leads. They're simply 395. We had 390. Yep, 395. So now that we have this done, we have one more objective in our sheet. We have all these pending fields that need to be cleared. So we need to have our project look for a trigger based on reading the row. So anytime a row is updated, or appended in sheet 3, it's going to take a listen. Right now, I'm going to space this out for an hour while we get this process started, because I'm just going to have more control over it. And then once it actually triggers that something has changed, we need it to grab the rows that are specific to the task that we're trying to accomplish. So here is test lead. We're going to go into demo, and we're going to look specifically for our icebreaker that have the word pending in it. I'm going to test the workflow really quickly. We grabbed all the records. This will happen automatically, which is nice. I may have made the same mistake again. I needed to execute it only once. There we go. So we have 394 records that we're going to be parsing through. Now that we've actually received all of our data, we now need to find a way to turn all of that data into a meaningful and personalized cold email outreach. So let's move on to the next part. So we're going to do an HTTP request. We're going to do a GET. We're going to look for the website. We're going to get all of the information from the website. From there, we need a way then to scrape all the HTML. Luckily, there is a way to extract HTML. It's going to come in as data, and we're going to make sure to get rid of the CSS. So we're going to run this record really quickly and see what happens. Actually, you know what, guys? We're going to time this out. We need to have our loop. So we're running through that loop one by one. I want to see how this information passes through just in case. It's waiting for me to create an event. I'm going to lock this down. I'm going to lock this down. And I'm going to run the loop. All right. Let's grab all the data. It should grab from the previous. Okay. Ah, I see what happened here. Wanted to put it in the done loop. I was like, that's weird. That should be working. So it's passing through all the parameters. We should grab all the actual data here. Then should be able to extract all the information that we need from data. All right, and just in case, we're going to make sure to always output and continue in case this thing does error. Now, we need to create an OpenAI that will actually take all that data and run it through. I'm going to just copy the one that we currently have. Like I said, trying to make this as succinct as possible so that you guys understand exactly what needs to be done. We are doing an OpenAI with a 4.0 mini. I'm going to go in here. It's going to take the data from the website. And so once again, we're following the same kind of function where we got an overview, a context, instructions, the tools, the examples, the SOPs, and the final. So this is saying, hey, I want you to identify and summarize the following: the offering, the target audience, the pain points, the unique selling proposition of the website, and then run through that website data in the format. And then here's some examples of how it should look. It's a website data from a SaaS company. And then parse it, avoid, any copying of large text, and just keep, run through it. So that's the system prompt. Do a quick baba booey. Excellent. So it's got all of our information there. Just like always, let's go and append or update the row. Test lead system. Demo. We're going to focus on matching ID. Now, the nice thing is we don't have to do all these again. Rather, all we have to do is just make sure to have the website content one highlighted. All right, content is now added. Now we're going to add our most important node, which is our icebreaker. Like I said, don't want to get bogged down with the minutia of everything. I'm going to be 4.0. Let me make sure to log all of that information in there. It's now inside. Now we have something we can parse through. So what we're doing here is pretty straightforward. We're doing 4.0. It's a helpful assistant. This is the overview of what we're actually trying to build. Once again, overview, context, instructions, tools, examples, the output that we want, and SOPs and everything. So for this instance, you're an AI agent responsible for crafting a short, hyper-personalized LinkedIn connection opener that supports relationship building, networking, and lead generation for digital marketing agency founders, digital marketing experts and agency founders, while incorporating subtle references to prospects, company positioning, and website content available. So runs through 300 characters, tries to keep other things that are succinct and necessary. It grabs the information that we believe is the most pertinent that we've actually put together with the offer, target audience, pain point, and whatnot. We want to start off friendly. I'm going to make sure that, let's see what the loop is called. Loop over. So it's got some information on me, the user. I'm going to copy my information because apparently I didn't update it. That is me, but I've got some more business information that I wanted to make sure that was in there. These are my name, Lloyd Dodgen, that I'm the one actually connecting. My YouTube ad agency, my AI agency, and also my business acquisition, acquiring firms, 10 years in media buying, expert in digital copywriting and direct response marketing. So we have all the information about the output, the input, the output, and the SOPs. Let's make sure also to update this as well. All right, let's check it out. Missed one reference node. And check this out, guys. Hey, Patricia. I see you're leading logo ideas in El Paso, focusing on design and corporate events. Always interested in how creative agencies navigate growth and client needs in this fast-paced landscape. I'm curious if you'd be interested in sharing insights on the evolving role of promotional products in marketing. And then we add that to our sheet. In fact, actually, I could just do this. We'll add our message here. And actually, we need to get rid of this because we need to add the icebreaker. And then we'll add our message in here. And then we'll loop it through, guys. And just like that, this is done. And it'll start looking for everything that we need and updating the sheet. I'm curious if you'd be interested in discussing strategies for scaling promotional products. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see what the next one says. Yep. Yeah, we're going to always output and continue just in case things like that happen. Run it again. Some of these websites, they're just crappy websites, you know, they just don't have information. And we don't want to get bogged down with that, guys. please provide the website. Doesn't have it, but it's going to take everything else and be still put a good custom message. Hey, Zach, I see you're navigating the creative marketing landscape in Chicago. I'd love to connect and share insights on social media strategies and content marketing that resonate with today's audiences. I'm curious if you'd be interested in discussing how we can leverage AI for growth. And that's it, guys. You now have a set way to be able to create over 10,000 leads at any given time based on the search criteria that you're looking for, and then filter those leads to make sure that the opener that you're going to have for your cold email outreach is personalized and focused and as a way to connect the two of you together. This to me is one of the greatest systems like in your whole workflow that you could possibly have, because leads shouldn't be a bottleneck in your business. You should have a surefire way of always being able to generate conversations at any given time. You shouldn't have to hire a team of VAs to work through thousands of leads to make sure that you're creating a unique connect, or be only doing 5 or 10, emails a day. You should be able to get to the point where you can do 10, 20, 30,000 emails sends out a month. And this is just the beginning, guys. I hope you enjoy this build. If you want to get access to it, make sure to go down, click the link below, get into my school group. I have the template all available for you, along with workflow documentation on how to actually put it together. I'm always curious to see what business owners are needing and being able to put those builds together for you so that you can get the most value possible and squeeze the most you can out of your own business. Look, guys, AI is here to stay, and it should be burning the midnight oil so that you don't have to. My name is Lloyd again, guys. I'm with Growth Creator AI. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and check out the next video that we have for you.